Right, I just thought I would make a new video because the version of Pluraleyes that we now have installed in Q132 is slightly different. It's a newer version to the one that I showed you before Christmas. So I'm just going to quickly give you a demo of Pluraleyes version 3. I'm going to show you two things that we can do with it. One is what I've already shown you before, and which is syncing separately recorded audio with their video, so something called double system sound. And the other is multi-clip editing. Now, we haven't done multi-clip editing yet, we may have done if you're watching this after we've done it, but as at January, we haven't done multi-clip editing yet. But I thought I would quickly add multi-clip editing onto this video as well using the new version of Pluraleyes. There is a video on multi-clip editing already. It's very similar, but because we've got a new version of Pluraleyes, I just thought I'd show you in this video as well. So first of all, very quickly, how do we synchronize double system sound? So what I've done, I've dragged in the same 6 files that I've shown you before. So we've got 3 video angles and 3 corresponding higher quality audio files with them. And then all we do is shift click on them all, drag them into our sequence, and as you can see they've all appeared there. We need to make sure the project is saved, so I've called this test 2 and our sequence is called test. Now that's important because when you load up Pluraleyes, so just using Spotlight and doing a search for Pluraleyes 3, when you use Pluraleyes you need to make sure when you go to new project from Final Cut Pro 6 or 7 that you're choosing the correct project in sequence. So if you've got multiple projects open with multiple sequences, make sure that your project matches your project name in Final Cut, which it does here, and also make sure your sequence matches where it says sequence as well. Just hit OK, and very quickly it will bring in the 3 files. Now, notice that I've completely done something wrong, which is really good because I brought in the wrong project. So that was a good example, wasn't it? This is completely wrong. So let's go File again, New Project from Final Cut 6. Make sure it's set to Test 2, which if you remember is where I have my files here, and make sure your sequence is called test in this case. There we go, that's better. So now it's bringing in my 3 video files and the 3 separately recorded audio files. And quite a nice thing about the new version of Pluraleyes, it's actually labelled them, look, camera 1 and audio recorder 1, because it knows that they're just WAV files, so it calls them audio recorder. Now all we do is hit synchronize. Job done, you can see the waveforms now match. And then we're going to go to export timeline. Make sure you're on the correct editor format, Final Cut Pro, not Final Cut Pro 10, unless you're using Final Cut Pro 10 that is, and just keep all of these ticked. The nice thing about the new version of Pluraleyes is if you remember when I showed you the first version of Pluraleyes, all it did was made a new sequence with each video clip synchronized with the audio clip. What this new version of Pluraleyes does, it will do that, but it also creates merged clips. Now if you remember, a merged clip is something that Final Cut creates when you use the merge clip feature. And we've done it before by matching an in point when the clapperboard closes. This will automatically create as merge clips as well. So hit export, go back into Final Cut, and what it does, it creates a folder with the same name as our project name, and within here, look, it's created a couple of sequences. Ignore what that one is, not particularly useful. This sequence here, you will see, has got all of our 3 clips now synchronized with the higher quality WAV file. Notice also it's trimmed them to exactly the same length, which is quite neat. But also what we now have is a folder called merged clips, and within there we now have merged clips with the new audio attached as well. So whenever I start editing with these clips, they will automatically have the higher quality audio attached to them as well. So that's Pluraleyes 3. So all you would do is, say you had 50 video clips, 50 audio clips, drag them all into the sequence and then use Pluraleyes to make your merged clips excuse me, and then edit accordingly. Okay, so that's the first part of this video. The second part, very quickly, is the multi-clip feature. Now what I've got here in this sequence is 3 video angles that were recorded at the same time with 3 audio files obviously attached. One was recorded on a DSLR, one was recorded on an iPad, and one was recorded on a phone. So the audio quality on the iPad and the phone isn't very good, so I don't want to keep that. What I want to be able to do is edit these clips in real time, so it's very similar to how you would direct a live TV show. But I want the audio to always come from this angle here. Now this audio here has been recorded separately, and what I did is I attached it using either the merge clip feature or Pluraleyes to the video angle. So this is basically from my Zoom H4n synced to my DSLR. I exported it as a new QuickTime file like you would do normally, and I brought it back into this project, and that's why it's called New Sound. If you're unsure what I'm talking about here, watch the other video on multi-clip editing which goes through that process. So what I've done is I've got my 3 video angles, dragged them into a sequence, and the sequence is called multi-clip. We're then going to go back to Pluraleyes, hit import or file, new project, make sure we're on the right one, which we are, Final Cut Project multi-clip, go OK, and as you can see it's bringing in the 3 cameras. So while that once that's loaded in, all we now need to do is again hit the synchronize button. Excuse the washing machine in the background if you can hear it. Hit synchronize. That's now synchronized all angles together, again using the waveform. Hit export timeline. Now because we've got multiple video and audio, it's actually enabled the create multi-clip tick box. So again, keep all of these ticked, make sure we're on Final Cut Pro, and hit export. Very quickly, back to Final Cut now, and you can see it's made me a new folder again with the same name as the project name, and within here we have something called a multi-clips folder. Now a multi-clip in Final Cut Pro is always italicized, so you know what a multi-clip looks like. If I drag that multi-clip into my viewer, you can now see that we can see all 3 angles. Now something else you will see is a blue and green box around this current angle here. The blue means that's the current active video angle, and the green means that's the current audio angle. Now I happen to know that this is the DSLR angle. So if you remember, that's where we want to always get the audio from. So what I'm going to do first is click on this play ahead sync box here, make sure it says video and audio, and I'm going to click onto that angle, and you can see now that the green and the blue box are now around this angle, and that's where I always want my audio to come from. So what we'll now do is make a new sequence, and we'll just call this edit, or whatever you want to call it. I'm now going to drag the multi-clip onto the edit sequence. Okay, now what I want to be able to do is keep the sound playing from this angle, because remember that's where the high quality audio is, but in real time I want to be able to toggle between my other angles. So all we do for that is we need to synchronize the canvas with the viewer. You see at the moment when I scroll along the timeline, obviously it updates in the canvas window, but it's not updating in the viewer window. I want to synchronize these two windows together. To do that, you just click on this Play Ahead Sync and put it onto Open. And what that will now do, as you can see, synchronize the two windows together. Okay? Now all I need to do is tell it, when I choose a different angle, I only want to change the video angle, not the audio as well. You remember, green means audio, blue means video. So now all I do is go onto this Play Ahead Sync drop down again and just change it to video. Now you must make sure the active angle currently is the one that you want the audio to come from. I do, that's correct, so I click on video only. We now hit play.
And what we're going to do is use Pluraleyes to quickly make us a multi-clip, and we're going to be able to seamlessly edit between the different camera angles.
Notice that the green box is staying round the higher quality video angle all the time.
What we can't do is use Pluraleyes to do it from the outset. What we need to do, first of all, is synchronise one of our cameras to our higher quality
sound. You get the idea. Hit stop, and now look what's happened. It's remembered those edit points, but it's kept the audio running all the time. So now when I play that back, look over here.
It's a multi-clip, and we're going to be able to seamlessly edit between the different camera angles,
and you can
while still maintaining the high quality sound from the Zoom H4n. Okay, so when we do this, what we can't do is use Pluraleyes to do it from the outset. What we need to do, first of all...
Okay, so I hope that was useful. I appreciate that you may not have done multi-clip editing yet, so do have a look at the other multi-clip editing video, which perhaps explains it a bit quicker, but I just thought I would show you how to do it in the new version of Pluraleyes. Okay, thanks for watching.